Today we're doing a comparison between the Apple MacBook Pro and the HP Spectre 360 15-inch. More than 10 years ago, I got my first Mac computer. It was a MacBook Pro 13-inch. I remember when I went to the store and picked it out, I was so excited to finally be getting the infamous Mac computer. At that time, Macs were cutting edge. PCs were dull and boring and kind of just sat there all big and bulky, running Word and Excel, crashing all the time. I'm looking at you, Vista. And viruses were just rampant everywhere. Macs were definitely in. I want to stop the video right there for just 1 second and give a shout out to the old time technology of the old Dell Inspiron laptop. I didn't know I had this laptop, and when I was doing this video, I just kind of stumbled across it in a closet. And I just want to give everybody a good look at what the technology of yesterday used to look like. This laptop weighs about 10 pounds, and somebody used to carry it to work almost every day. I mean, it's massive and heavy. The actual lid, the screen of this laptop is thicker than my MacBook Pro. So shout out to yesterday's technology. I tell you what would be funny. I wonder if I took this into one of those fancy coffee shops, what they would think about it. Yeah, how you doing? What's up? I didn't know you could wait tables with your AirPods in. I'd like a chai tea latte, a blueberry scone, and a place to plug my baby in. It's a bomb! Wow! Okay, back to the video. Because they were fun and exciting, and they worked without much fuss and had long lifespans. It was an investment in not only a machine, but an entry into a company that was thinking differently. Through the years, I've just stuck with Macs because, frankly, it was just the easier thing to do. I immersed myself in the ecosystem because it was comforting to me. I had iMacs, iPads, iPhones, iPods, and eventually another MacBook Pro. Somewhere in there, I dabbled with a Samsung phone, and I just hated it, which solidified my belief that Apple products were just simply the best. They took away the ports and called it courage, and I accepted it and forked out another $20 on a dongle. I refused to consider anything but Apple products. I simply couldn't see past AirDrop and iMessage, but a recent experience opened my eyes. I was more or less given an opportunity to try out an HP Spectre 360 2-in-1 for a few days. I must admit I was completely shocked by my experience. When I first saw this computer, my first impression is that it was just a beautiful machine. Up until this point, mind you, space gray was just about as exciting as it got. The Spectre is kind of a brushed ashed aluminum with copper accents that looks like a premium device. It has gem-cut corners, and I'm not sure what the functionality of this is other than to give a laptop a distinctive look. It has several ports, and having come from dongle hell that Apple created, I soon realized how nice it is using your computer dongle free. The keyboard feels like a keyboard should feel, not like a MacBook Pro where it feels like typing on some kind of cheap old kid's toy. My only complaint is that the keys are not centered to the screen because of the number pad. The trackpad is not very good on the Spectre as compared to the Apple. I had to lower the sensitivity to the lowest settings and found it to be still too sensitive and noticeably smaller than the MacBook Pro. In my opinion, the trackpad is the Spectre's weakest point. The display on the Spectre is 4K and blows the retina out of the water. It is simply gorgeous and an up-to-date display. You can also flip the screen around and use the computer as a tablet, shape it like a tent, or flip the keyboard all the way around and then adjust the viewing angle to whatever suits your needs. The Spectre has a touch display. I didn't know if I'd like to use a touch display much, having never had one on a laptop before. But the more I used it, the more I realized the potential of the increased productivity. When you think about it, everything has a touchscreen now, and it's just a natural transition to have one on a laptop. The touchscreen makes using the computer easier and more fluid. The Spectre also has pen support, and while I didn't use the pen that much in testing, it's a nice addition to have. I'm guessing that people who like to draw or have a need to take notes love the introduction of the pen. Myself, I haven't found much use for the pen in my day-to-day yet. Even with the iPad Pro, I don't use the pen too much. But it's nice that a computer would have support for a pen for those that could take advantages of its usefulness. I can't say much for the performance of the Spectre as I don't know much about benchmark scores and such. All I can tell you about the performance is that if it sucks or not, and the Spectre definitely does not suck. It's fast and handled pretty much everything I put it through with no problems, including editing 4K footage and some gaming. And while the fans just seem to constantly be on when the machine gets pushed, and it definitely got pretty warm, it never seemed to lag to an unusable point. I will be returning the HP Spectre after testing, mainly because I have a MacBook 2017 and it doesn't make sense financially to have two similar laptops. So I'm just going to have to wait until my keyboard dies to get a new one, which should be just around the corner anyway. Hopefully by then HP will have pushed the boundaries even further. I enjoy testing. It's always fun using and learning something new. But this experience has left me in a weird place, a place of reflection. Up until now, I consider myself a solid Apple fanboy, but the Spectre has definitely shaken my belief that Apple was simply the best. It's not just the Spectre either. Although it's a fine machine, most of the newer Windows computers can do the same things that the Spectre can do. Some a little bit more, some a little bit less, but all pretty much the same. The touchscreen, the lifespan, the pen, the ability to flip the screen and view it how you want, the attention to productivity and customer usability, it's all so Apple, or at least it was Apple. Not anymore, it seems. The Apple just sits there, the same as it did last year and the year before. Sadly, not much has changed. So if you consider yourself an Apple fanboy like me, and you're thinking about buying a new computer, you owe it to yourself to look into a Windows laptop to see what it offers. You might just be pleasantly surprised at what you find. Thanks for watching.